Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. We've got 7 really interesting speakers today. Our first speaker is Diana, and she has a background in textile futures. And she graduated last year from St. Martin's. And she's worked primarily in the fashion industry as a graphic designer and product developer. And as a multidisciplinary designer, her work positions itself between design and research, exploring material culture, emerging technologies, and convergence of those with aspects of human behavior.
Okay, so hello everyone. As Rada mentioned, my name is Diana Kovacheva, and I graduated last year from the MA Textile Futures course, and since then I've been involved with the Foresight Innovation team at Arup. What I would like to talk about is testing alternatives, and this will be on the basis of 2 of my projects. So, global sourcing is the first topic. Today, products are basically better traveled than people, that's a fact. So this is an example, what you see there, from Source Map, showing the global sourcing of all components of an iPhone 5. And if you would look at other products, they will all look quite similar to this one. So for a project during my Textile Futures course, I was inspired by the 100-mile diet for food sourcing, and I wanted to produce a locally sourced textile, which is quite of a challenge. So basically I set for myself 100-mile diameter, and I had to stick to it for sourcing. So my journey started with sourcing the wool. I went to the Surrey Dog Farm on the Thames Path, just in London, by the river, and asked them to buy some wool. I was lucky enough to get enough for a scarf for just £2. And the sheep was brought from the Oxford County, so it was quite still in my radius. So the next thing was to find locally produced steel combs to card the wool. So I went to the New Covent Garden Market to buy thistle flowers, and this is how this used to be done in the past. Of course, I couldn't find locally produced real ones. So I had to basically microwave it and dry it, and then find branches and build it myself, the old-fashioned one. So I couldn't find any locally produced drop spindle either, but I found a naturally curved tree branch, which could work as a hook to spin the yarn. And I also was lucky to find a stone with a hole, so I could build my DIY drop spindle. For the knitting needles, I found some tree branches just near Seven Sisters Road. And this was kind of quite the easiest part, because the branches were naturally wider on one side, as they always are. So I didn't need any caps, so I would just knit with those, with the tree branches. So after I finished knitting, it was really important to attach a label to my scarf. So I found locally sourced blueberries from the Dorset Blueberry Company, which is really on the edge of my 100-mile radius. So what I did is I dyed the yarn with the blueberries and stitched the label, which is called 100% pure local. So this is the scarf, showing the whole process of producing a woolen fabric in London, or in the area of London, from the sheep to the scarf. And because the sheep was so important, I went back there and photographed my scarf on the sheep. It was quite of a challenge, though, because I had to make it stand for a while. So this is again the map showing the geographical spread of my source materials. So the sheep comes from London, but it's actually an Oxford Down breed, so from the Oxford County. The blueberries come from Dorset, the thistle plant comes from Bedford, and all the rest I could actually source in London. So my question is it possible to apply local sourcing to the textile industry? I think what's important to think about is that in the past our cities used to be self-sufficient, and the manufacturing of goods used to actually grow together with communities. And today we seem to be really dependent on this global supply chain. So what I found out was actually that you can source all these raw materials in London. This one is another project I would like to talk about. This was looking at humanizing energy consumption. So this is what you see when you would Google energy consumption, is lots of charts and graphs. And Google even suggests search criteria like cartoon, country, or chart. So we wanted to bring some understanding, and we started thinking about how can we include humans in the energy loop. And could we actually power our laptops manually? And we realized we also need energy to run, that's food, and natural resources and agriculture and so on. And so while trying to close this loop, we came to the conclusion that we had to either eat computers or they have to go back to the soil and feed the cows. And while discussing this insane loop at a coffee shop, we met a professor who told us this. The average EU citizen uses 50 times the energy that they can obtain for food. So this is where our project started. Basically, the professor helped us to convert food calories into kilowatt hours through a very simple formula. That's the one you see there. And we decided to work with that and create a valuation tool that would bring energy back to the human scale and to make it more understandable to us. So what we actually created is basically a tool. The actual tool is a website where you can see our animation and try to calculate with our equation. And this is the pasta machine with human power that visualizes the concept. So, for example, one of the equations is the 8,000 Olympic torchbearers for the 2012 London Olympics altogether burn about 130,000 calories, which is the same as running 1,500 watt space heater continuously for 4 days. And all those torchbearers will need the calories of 215 fish and chips dinners. Another example would be a fridge that has an energy output of 1.6 kilowatt hours per day, which is the same as the calories burned from talking for 28 hours non-stop, which again equals the food calories you can obtain from 15 fried eggs. And the last example is to make your cup of tea, you would boil water normally with a 3,000 watt electric kettle, which generally takes 3 minutes. This is the same as having moderate sexual activity for 52 hours non-stop, 52 minutes, sorry, non-stop, which would be the same as the calories from one cupcake. And what I think is that we've been so much working on creating all this kind of big picture, seeing the big picture, but I think it's also really important to go back to the human scale after that, and I think this is where art and design can help a lot. Thank you.